What's going on, guys? It's July 8th, 2016, and we're seeing a lot of crap coming out of the media right now. And I've never seen the media try to divide people so much. And so that was the inspiration for the blog I wrote today. This blog talks about our psychological diets. We often get talked to about what we're eating, right? People say you are what you eat. We hear about different types of diets to avoid certain things, to avoid certain illnesses, but very few people ever talk about the stuff that we're putting into our mind, the people we're surrounding ourselves with. And it's what Schwartz in The Magic of Thinking Big calls our psychological diet. What type of psychological environment are we allowing ourselves to be around? How are we getting our information? What types of people are we surrounding ourselves with? How are we allowing their opinions and their behaviors to affect us? And so what I want to do right now is just go through 3 things that I go through in this blog that will allow you to have a psychological diet that's going to lead to more success in the long run. And the overall rule I want you to understand here is that the more black and white you think about any situation, the more you're not able to see something from somebody else's perspective, the more you're dug in on a particular perspective, the easier it is for you to be manipulated and the more predictable you are in how your behavior goes. So the more black and white you are on a situation, the more likely it is that, 1, people aren't going to listen to your arguments, they're not going to respect your arguments. 2, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to hold a leadership position in the future, or to be a good leader, or to accomplish a lot of different things. And you probably want to say that, well, politicians have black and white perspectives and that, they're successful, but do they? Right? They might speak black and white perspectives, right? But you have to think about why they're speaking black and white perspectives. Why do certain politicians get up there and hold a black and white point of view? Even though maybe in their history at some point, they weren't all black and white. We see certain politicians today who are speaking a certain point of view, but throughout their history, they pandered to both sides. And I'm not going to get into specifics about who that is or what politic. Personally, I don't support anybody in this upcoming presidential election. I lean more toward the conservative side of things, but I'm disappointed in all candidates. I'm severely disappointed in all candidates. And the reason why I'm disappointed in all candidates is because I understand one thing. There is a lot of manipulation going on both sides, on all sides of the coin. And the more black and white we are as a people, the more black and white we are as a society, the more we're susceptible to becoming manipulated. So how do you avoid that? How do you avoid that? How do you hold on to your personal beliefs, the things you are passionate about, regardless of what they are, conservative, liberal, different religious beliefs and things like that? How do you hold on to those without being black and white? Well, my opinion is that if you understand multiple perspectives, that can allow you to be a better conservative. It could allow you to be a better liberal. It could allow you to be a better Baptist, a better Catholic, a better Jew, regardless of your religion. Understanding how other people think, how other people act, what drives, what motivates people, that's the basis of conflict. The basis of winning any type of conflict, regardless of what it is understanding the other side's psychology, understanding how they think, right? And I think that too few of us understand this. We look at everything as coming to loggerheads, ramming our head first into an argument with somebody, And Jocko Willing talks about this all the time on his podcast. You never attack an entrenched position. So how can we avoid that? right? And how can we avoid becoming dug in ourselves and avoid that simple kind of thinking that's going to limit our success, and that's going to limit our ability to have our arguments understood, that's going to limit our ability to gain the respect of other people, and that's going to limit our ability to be happy in this life. Well, the first thing is this: you need to avoid negative people. You need to avoid negative and cynical people, or at least you have to limit their impact on your life. You know, just to give you an example, we all know people who will go into the job and you're trying to do a good job, and someone will say, well, it doesn't make a difference. No one can get ahead around here. Everybody at the top is so entrenched, right? Those of you who are serving in the Marine Corps or the Army or any branch of the military right now, you all know somebody like that who's currently so cynical that they don't want to do their job, and they're just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna skate. I'm just gonna ride the wave out of here. I'm gonna do my 4 years. I'm gonna get out, and they're gonna try and take you along on that with you, right? They're gonna try and take you along on that skate ride that they're doing, because they don't want you to see you become successful. They want to justify their own cynicism and their own inability to take action in their lives. They want to justify their own mediocrity. And you're going to find people out there who want you to be mediocre, who want you to be mediocre because they don't want you to rise above. And so you have to recognize that. And you have to surround yourself with positive people who are going to support you, who, when you try something new, they're going to be happy for you, who, when you try something new and you do something, they're going to offer constructive criticism. That's actually going to help you to become better, right? And there's a difference there. There's a difference between constructive criticism and completely negative criticism. Negative criticism is like, you're going to fail. You're not going to be able to do this. There's no way it's ever going to happen. Constructive criticism is, well, maybe if you try this, or maybe if you do this in a different way, or here's my perspective on this, and this is why I think that you should try to do this differently. That is constructive criticism. Avoid anybody or limit their impact on your thoughts if they're telling you flat out, well, that's bad, or you can't do that, or you're never going to be able to do that in your life, or you suck, or anything else negative like that. The second thing we need to do, and I think that all of us should do this, and this might be one of the hardest things that we're able to do, but you should befriend and know and talk to people with different perspectives from yourself. You should understand how those people think. When somebody's opposing you in a job, or they have a different opinion on something than you, or you have somebody who has an alternative idea for a project, or even politically, if you know somebody from the other side of the aisle, talk to them. See how they think. Understand what they're saying, right? Understand their side of the argument. And yeah, of course, we're all sitting here and, you know, to some of us, these arguments are black and white, but understand where they're coming from. And that will allow you to formulate a better argument for your side. You know, I always laugh. I always laugh when I'm online and I see because I'm conservative, I see some liberal person talking about all conservatives as if, you know, they're uneducated, unschooled, and that, you know, they just haven't been exposed to enough ideas. And I think that's so pompous, and I think it's so funny. And when I actually engage them in debates, a lot of times they'll back away. But and I'm not talking crap about anybody specifically, but I'm saying once I've come up with an educated debate on a lot of things, a lot of these people just back away, right? I yearn for somebody to talk to, for somebody to debate with, for somebody who's not so black and white that they're gonna just get angry with me and turn off, because that'll just sharpen me a little bit more. Steel sharpens steel, and I'd be happy for that kind of debate. I'd be happy for that kind of interaction, and I've had it before. You know, I spend a lot of time in the university system, surrounded by liberals, and got to hear all about their perspectives and things like that. And that's why I think in a lot of ways I've kind of not pulled myself back from my perspective, but allowed myself to convey myself in a way that isn't going to immediately turn people off, that isn't going to immediately say, all right, that guy's wrong. Because the second I hear somebody say I'm wrong or you're evil or anything like that, that's when my brain turns off, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm not going to listen to that person anymore. I'm just going to convey my own opinion in a logical manner and try to get my points out there so that they can be understood. Third thing you have to do is read, and you have to read everything. Read as much as possible, right? Reading is not only going to help you to win arguments, it's going to help you to gain perspective about things outside of your realm. It's going to help you to gain perspective about what's possible in your life, because when you read about successful people, it allows you to see all the things they went through, all the hardships, all the problems, right? And when you're able to do that, it keeps you from feeling sorry for yourself. It keeps you understanding that you, like all human beings, have problems, and those problems are able to be solved if you take ownership of them and you solve them for your own self. So those are just 3 things I think that we need to be talking about in this time. To everybody out there, to all my brothers and sisters in the military, and all my brothers and sisters who are veterans, to all Americans out there who are peaceful, law-abiding, loving Americans, God bless you all. I love you all. And let's get through all this shit as a country. Talk to you all soon.